I won't never forget when I first decided to get sober. And I don't talk about this a lot anymore because it's been all those many years ago, but it's still something I think about often. And 6 years, it's nothing compared to what some people got. But at my lowest, I ended up almost losing my life to the opioid epidemic. And I remember as I crossed to the other side, seeing a pitch black nothingness that I wanted no part of. When I came back to, I didn't know where I was. I didn't know what had happened. I didn't know what to think. But in that moment, I realized that pitch black darkness, that nothingness that I saw, I didn't want to be a part of that. I never wanted to go to that place again. That was the lowest point in my life at that point in time. And there's a lot of friends of mine who made it to that place, and they never made it out. So I consider myself one of the lucky ones. That same very day, I ended up telling somebody, and they were immediately concerned, and my mom ends up calling me. She ends up hearing about it because I didn't want it to be a secret. I needed help at this point. I just didn't know how to ask for it. I didn't know where to begin. But my mom called me. She said, I heard what happened. And you're going to end up being a statistic. And she sent me a text message. I won't go too in detail, but in that moment, I wanted it. I just didn't know where to begin. That same day, I drove my car right across from AutoZone in Dublin, Georgia. There's a paint store that sits there. And I parked my car in a parking spot, and I got out, and I was just so tired, exhausted. I walked back and sat on their loading dock, and I laid down and I fell asleep. I had been up so long. I had probably been up 3 days, and I was working at the time as well, so I was just exhausted. I woke up to a drunk homeless man wanting to argue with me. He ended up calling somebody on the phone, which was 911. Drunks think they know everything, but who knows? This was an angel in disguise. Not too long after, a police car showed up first to the scene. Started asking me all these questions. I can't remember the conversation to be exact, but he knew who I was. He asked me, he said, Blake, what's happened to you? You used to work at Paul's Tire. You used to work on my car. What happened to that guy? I said, he's still in there. I said, I honestly won't help. I said, this is the lowest point I've ever been in my life. He said, well, today's your lucky day. He didn't ask to search my car. He didn't ask to search me. He didn't ask to do anything. At that moment in time, I was getting shown love from a police officer who knew me, who knew the struggle, who knew what I was going through, who had probably seen 1,000 other guys in my situation. Another young rookie cop pulled up, all disrespectful, asking about the vehicle, asking all types of questions, not the other officer. I said, sir, that's not my vehicle, it's in my mother's name. I said, I can't give you permission to search it, but if you don't mind, let me continue on my conversation with this gentleman. And the cop, I give him my mother's number, her phone number, I give him the keys. I said, let her come get it. I said, it's her vehicle, it's in her name, let her have it back, because I want to get clean. He said, son, I got an ambulance on the way, and I look forward to hearing your story after this. I can't remember the officer's name. I wish I could give him credit. But I remember him. I remember him giving me the grace that day. Like an angel in disguise. Coming to me saying, I know you got it in you, son. I've seen it. I've seen how talented you are. I've seen you work on cars, which I don't work on cars anymore, but I had changed his oil, put his tires on many a times. And if that cop somehow sees this video, he worked for the Dublin Police Department. He used to come up to Paul's tire all the time. Please, somebody, send this to him. Let him see the outcome. Now, I got a great job. I got a great life. I got a bad coin addiction. But hey, it could be worse. Someday that's going to pay out. That's just where I choose to invest my money. I like to train in the gym. As a matter of fact, I'm still a little sweaty now because I just got through with chest and triceps. But that day, somebody who I barely knew chose to show kindness. Instead of throwing me in jail, which in my gut, I thought, oh man, another trip down to the county jail. Not that day. It was a trip to the hospital. I got in the back of the ambulance. Old friend Jesse Wood was back there from Montrose, Georgia. It was an honor to get a ride to the hospital that day. I sat in the lobby and waited, trying to get into Quentin's place. They never did get me in, unfortunately, that day. That day wasn't the moment. It'd come 2 weeks later. That night, I ended up getting out, and I don't want you to lose focus, so I'm going to make this quick. They said Quentin's place will be giving you a call. We'll get you into detox in the next few days. And I don't know if they ever called or not, but it was a small facility. I ended up walking all the way to my dad's house, and he let me stay, thank God. And I stayed there for 3 or 4 days and slept it off. And I still had some money in my bank account. I ended up getting a ride to the hospital, then to the bank to get a new debit card. And then I went and got me a motel, and I stayed at a motel for 2 nights. And I pondered, what will I do next? Of course, I was still using at the time, but not as aggressively, because I didn't want to go back to that dark place, but I didn't want to get to the point where I was sick. The very next day, I said, this is the day. I had $50 left to my name. I called a cab. I called my mom. I said, I'm going to mental health. They'll help me find somewhere. They didn't. I went back to the hospital, sat at the hospital all day. Still didn't get no help. They said Quentin's place will be calling. Well, my mom called me a few hours later. She said, we found somewhere. We're going to take you to Macon to the Coliseum. I sat in that Macon Coliseum waiting room for about 48 hours. Waiting, going, the withdrawals hadn't kicked in, but it was close. I sat up there waiting and waiting and waiting. And finally, after about 48 hours, they got me upstairs. And I stayed there for 5 days. And ended up going to a little small men's retreat in Garfield, Georgia called New Beginnings in Christ. Place was life-changing, but really, it wasn't the place that did it. It was the decision that I made in my heart. It can be done anywhere, at any time, by anybody. You just got to be ready. Your mama can't want it. Your brother can't want it. Your daddy can't want it. Your sister can't want it. Your cousin can't want it. Only you can want it and truly get it and truly live a clean, sober life. And it's tough. I make mistakes every day. I'm not perfect, but it's not about being perfect. It's about doing the next right thing, making the next best decision for yourself, whatever that may be. But I just wanted to show how a little bit of kindness can change a man's life. You never know who you might run across. That little hair of kindness that officer showed that day changed my entire life. Look where I am now, Statesboro, Georgia. I pay my rent. I take care of my kids. I do everything I got to do. I eat good. I exercise every day. I enjoy my life. I couldn't ask for a better life. I was able to go pick my uncle up who just got out of prison, who's doing good. And y'all keep him in y'all's prayers. Sunday. Making big boy moves in life. And it was about time. Because I didn't do it for almost 30 years. But that little bit of kindness changed my life forever. Thank y'all. Y'all go out and be kind. Blake out.